planes of motion. Body has 3 planes of motion, same as basic physics. Sagittal plane is the wheel, transverse plane is the table, and frontal coronal plane is a doorway. Body wants to move in sagittal plane first. All of your primary actions should always be sagittal plane. The next plane supporting the sagittal plane would be transverse plane, transverse rotation on the table. The third and final plane is the frontal plane. And while the body can do primarily frontal plane movements only, these movements are actually a combination of the sagittal and transverse plane. They're not really just frontal plane. Okay? So we're going into boxing or Tai Chi, when Tai Chi really should be considered equal to boxing. When you look at the primary movements and how they function, if you really understand it, it's hiding boxing. But the idea of these movements was to hide the sharp impact movements so that you can't see where they happen. And that's why people have such a problem learning style. So we go into sagittal move. Sagittal plane is anytime I shift my weight forward, I'm moving on the sagittal plane. Anytime I do a deadlift type action with my hip, it's a sagittal plane movement. Anytime I shift my foot, my knee, it's sagittal plane. When I do transverse rotation is when I'm turning the hip. Turning the hip is what causes this transverse effect. However, like I said, it's, one is primary, one is secondary, one is tertiary. The primary effect is to go forward on the sagittal plane. When I turn transverse and I put my hand in front of it like 2 pencils on a ball, if I spin the ball, I will have motion on the sagittal plane that's being powered by transverse rotation. This is why transverse rotation is secondary to the primary, which is sagittal plane. Tertiary would be frontal coronal plane, which is this effect. And this effect happens when you have a primary and secondary motion acting against each other, which creates what appears to be frontal plane motion. So when you see, for instance, in Tai Chi, you see the average brush knee, very basic brush knee, right? What's happening is my body's shifting on the sagittal plane, I'm adding transverse rotation on the hip, and that combined gives me my power. However, there should be an extra spiral effect, same as in boxing, same as in karate. We should have this spiral effect. This should be in all martial arts, and it was taken away from when I studied from the Beijing 24 form. I don't do that form, but from my research, it seems that was the downfall of martial arts from China, was the invention of the Beijing 24 form. From that moment on, there's been a degradation of all traditional martial arts. I'm not saying that form was responsible, I'm just saying that timeline, there was a big movement from the major governments that decided to weaken the arts for the people. In one hand it was good because it promoted health, on the other hand it was bad because it promoted mediocrity, and it made people, it made the lowest classes mediocre and the upper classes mediocre, and everybody down to the middle. And there's very good and bad things about that, as you can see in the modern world. So, how do we get frontal plane? Now there's ways, obviously you see styles that will do this kind of movement. In my opinion, it's very bad, and that should be a sacrifice move or a place where you feel you need to get out of. The effect of the coronal plane should happen on the outside, not on the inside. It's because it's not a prime mover, it's a tertiary mover, it's a function of the two combined. So, while, for instance, let's just say we wanted to throw a person in the frontal plane. I wouldn't want my spine to go like this and not a reflex. What I want to happen is for one part to go up and one part to go down. And as one part's going up and one part's going down, I have transverse rotation and sagittal plane motion, this effect happens. So my body is not doing this, my body is doing forward, back, side to side. And those combined in the myofascial system, a good book to look is anatomy trainers, but he's probably the first guy I've seen in the Western world who's bringing Chinese and Western ideas together, the myofascial systems. You'll see that there's what I used to call it 12 major lines before I knew anything about timeline. And what happens is you have this oblique slings in the front and the back, and you have lateral lines on the side of your body. And when you combine them in sagittal and transverse plane, you get the frontal plane effect. So while my body's moving this way, because of the rotation, and because of the opposing, you get this frontal plane. that's why the opponent will tend to do a loop or a cartwheel. When I do a move like this, it's not because I'm doing the cartwheel, it's because the effect of the power is the sum of the other two sides. What's up guys, it's Master D from NYC, and we're starting with our Moving for the People series on YouTube. Check us out every day for a new video. We'll be giving you free lessons, and hopefully guys who have money will pay for it, and the ones who don't, we'll pass it on to the kids. So check us out for more, subscribe, hit the bell on the bottom, hit the like, buy some t-shirts, buy some other cool stuff, and donate to the cause.